Take a farmer,
a photographer,
and a teenage girl,
buy a bus,
add a dog,
and let the adventure begin.
Good afternoon and welcome back to episode 7 of O'Neill's On the Run Life in a Bus, and today is the build part 3, hopefully our last part of going through our deep dive into our bus build, but who knows, depends on how long we ramble, I guess. I've got Tom with me here today.
hello.
Hello, he says. Ali is opting out. She's just waving in the background there to us. And hopefully you all enjoy the listening experience a little bit more this week because we've upgraded our mics to the DJI wireless mic system. So let's hear some feedback on that, and let's see if you like the sound of it a little bit more. It sounds clearer in my ear, so hopefully it's better for everyone else. Now, we're following on from episode 6, where we sort of looked at the plumbing and the appliances and the security and all sorts of little things within the bus, and it was sort of coming to the end of that a little bit now. But before I get sidetracked and I forget the things I'm supposed to say, I'll do the motivational. And this week is the most dangerous risk of all is the risk of spending your life not doing what you want on the bet you can buy yourself freedom later. So we took the punt and went the other way. And listener questions came off Facebook, and it was from last week's episode where we went through our appliances, and I just got the comment, no microwave, ? Exclamation. And yes, we don't have a microwave.
No, you just got to remember to get your stuff out to defrost in the morning when you leave.
I was pretty adamant on it. Apart from not being solar energy friendly, I was pretty adamant that if we had to microwave food, we were living too fast. And this life was supposed to be slower, with more time. And if I'm relying on microwaving food, I was running. Tom's giving me the, oh my God, you're a dirty hippie face. But that was a real thing for me. I wanted to be, a slow life, a simple life. So if we need a microwave to cook dinner, we were living too fast. So no microwave in the bus. I hope it stays that way. Feel like I've compromised a little with the air fryer.
Air fryer's not a microwave.
Yeah, kind of.
No, you can't warm stuff up in a plastic tub.
I heated up KFC potato and gravy in there the other day.
In a plastic tub.
No, put it in a Pyrex jug.
No,
so there you go. There's my cooking tip. How about that? So let's get into this final bit of bus information. Wall materials.
Well, that's all you. You worked at Lysart.
As I've said, I came out of the steel industry originally, Lysart, which is Colorbond, and then Southern Steel, and I got to know the products pretty well. So what we ripped out was a mixture of materials. There was some sort of fibre board, compressed board sort of stuff, masonite. There was some 70s style faux wood paneling. There's a mixture of wall materials. So we ripped them all out, and I've lined the walls with high gloss white Colorbond flat sheet. So it's a steel product, not an aluminium. It's 0.55 base metal thickness. It means my walls are magnetic, which actually works pretty well. It's strong, it's light, it reflects all the light. It's super easy to install. And I think when we did it, it was about $55 a sheet for a 1.2 by 2.4 meter sheet. So pretty effective. And it took a little bit to cut the shapes around the windows, everything being curved. We just did that with a little nibbler attachment we bought from Bunnings, cut all around our curved windows and slotted it in, then Sikaflexed and riveted. But the amount of light it actually reflects through the bus is pretty good. I'm really glad we went with that choice.
Yeah, it was the simplest way to go around it, I think.
especially working where I was working. Now, for those of you who've seen the videos of inside the bus, our overheads are made from the same material, except I had the guys at Lysart. Big shout out to Tamworth Lysart while we're going. Good crew. I had those guys custom fold the same material into the flashings. It's called a flashing for the overhead. So they're like a U-shaped, a tray with two sides, and we've got 4 meters down each side of the bus at the front. And yeah, the guys there, I just drew up what I want, and then give the guys a few days, and they fold them up, and they're ready to pick up. And I think it worked out about $220 a side for the 4 meters custom made. And Coldstream Metal made the little brackets, the aluminium brackets that suspend the overheads.
Yeah, and they just went into the old overhead screw holes.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
lined them up with where the old.
And they are under pressure a little bit because we haven't quite got the right bends on the ends.
On the ends of the
'Cause
aluminium,
Yeah, the roof slopes and
We
back
did.
slopes as well.
And we forgot about that.
Yeah, and underneath that we just put magnetic lights.
Yeah, 12-volt strip lights. Where are they from?
I think they're XTM or something. Just got them from BCF. I think they're $40 for 6 of them, and that's done over Ali's bed and both sides of the kitchen bench.
Yeah, so
easy to wire in. You haven't got to worry about the plugs. Just cut the plugs. There's 2 wires in them, and wire them to 12 volt.
And we just put a little switch in, which we cut through the wall of the overhead, over the catch tray on the overhead. So a little flick switch, and they're really bright, and they've got the orange anti-bug thing in them as well, which is nice.
Yeah, and you can just move them around wherever you want.
And
especially
again, because they're magnetic, and the flashing material is steel. So instead of being aluminium like heaps of people go for, it's steel. And that means we've got little magnet clips to hold paperwork and stuff. Like, we've just got little magnetic things everywhere that works really well with metal walls. Yeah, and apart from that, we didn't do a lot with the lights on the inside, did we?
No, I just changed all the original center lights. I just changed to be off the start battery to our system.
Solar system, yeah. So they're initially on the start battery, and we just changed the running lights that were down the center of the bus over onto the solar system. We put a big outdoor light on the outside, and then another one down over where we put the barbecue when we had the barbecue out.
Yeah.
Which also has that orange anti-bug light capacity. So that's the lighting. Now the kitchen space, I'll pop a little video up again this week for this episode. But kitchen space, it's a caboodle kitchen, and I've boosted it all up to make it a little bit stronger with the half full drawer runners and accessories, just to give it a little bit more strength. It did work out a little bit expensive going that way. And we've got 6.7 meters of solid timber bench tops on top, which is something I really wanted, with nice solid timber, something textured against the high gloss white. Yeah, but the layout was a bit of a play around. Tom's got nothing to say. He's just
not
gazing.
Much. We probably just need proper lockers on them. We've just got the old bungee straps that used to hold down tornos on the side of utes,
and
they're
just lid.
Yeah, and they're just not quite. You end up with a few on the heavier drawers. So, I think eventually we'll try and find a proper locking system.
Yeah, so I'll pop that in the video too, our little locking system. It does work well, except if they're not done up tight enough and there gets a little bit of play in the drawers, and then the weight of the drawers pull on them and they stretch, and it becomes a thing.
It's not general driving, it's in town and roundabouts.
Roundabouts are the biggest.
Yeah, that's when we've smashed a couple of glasses that come out the overheads and that sort of stuff.
So things travel, and I think we'll do a bit of a rundown on how we set things up to travel too. But things travel really well in a bus. Stuff doesn't really move like it does in a caravan. Like, my fruit bowl sits on the bench all the time. My computer keyboard and mouse sits on the bench all the time while we're driving. It doesn't move. But you do then have to make sure you put Oki straps or something on your fridge, or, as we found out, you go around a roundabout and all your food falls on the floor.
Yeah, I've had a few drawers fly open.
And you've got to make sure
9 times out of 10, we haven't strapped it up.
Yeah, and you got to make sure, like, final departure check, all doors are shut. That's something we've just got really in the habit. Like Ali's, that's one of Ali's jobs. She goes through and do it. I go down behind her and check it. Like, we just get in the habit of doing that because we've had a few little
But I think one of the old original cupboards that's still in has got a magnet on it, and it doesn't come open, but it hasn't got a lot of weight on the door either.
Yeah. But where do you get those good magnets from anymore? Because I couldn't find any that strong, because that would have been fabulous. So basically down the driver's side, I've got two 900 ml wide pot drawers. I use the bottom one for top Tupperware, top one for our sort of dry goods pantry. The next one's got my sink in it. It's a 450 wide single door. Under that, all the normal sink stuff, your cleaning products, etc. And then I have the 3 drawers, 600 ml beside that. So cutlery, baking papers, etc. And then the bottom one, I've got a dish rack in, and that stores all our plates, cups, etc., bowls while we're driving. Our glasses and mugs go in the overhead above. Continuing on to the back, then I've got the 600 ml pot drawer. It has cake tins and tin kettles and stuff like that in it, with the fridge above. And then at the back we have another 600 ml pantry, but it is facing towards the back of the bus, and we use that for like wardrobe storage. Then coming down the passenger side of the bus, the first 1.2 meters of bench is actually my desk space slash breakfast bar, seating area, Ali's mess storage continued. And then I have a 455 ml.
There's a leg on the corner to brace it all.
There is a leg on the corner.
We got from Bunnings.
Of the bench, because it does look like the bench kind of floats. And if we weren't in a moving situation, I'm sure it'd be fine, cantilever it out. But just because we move, we put a leg under there, but it's at the back and you can't really see or notice that it's there. So then next to where I've got my computer, we've got the 450 ml wide drawer on top and cupboard door underneath. The drawer's got all our stationery in it, and underneath I've actually got the tower for my PC, and we store folders and laptops and things in there as well. Then we go to a 900 ml double door. That's where we store all our appliances, like coffee machine, air fryer. It's also got a storage file for all our paperwork, birth certificates, that kind of stuff. On from that, I've got a 200 ml slide out pantry, another 600 ml pot drawer that has the oven, the Thetford sitting on top. And then on the other side of that, another 200 ml slide out. Now, one of those slide outs is the wine hole, so we store our wine bottles in there while we drive around. It's pretty secure. I've seen people put pool noodles on the side to stop them bouncing, but we really haven't had a problem. And then the furthest side has all my sauces, salt, pepper, that kind of stuff, flour in it. And then beside that, we have another 450 ml wide pantry. It's got a basket with my potatoes and onions and things in it. Wine gets stored in there as well, but mostly it's got our utilities in it. Access to the hot water system, the fuse boxes, that's where the vacuum gets stored, etc. But that's our kitchen and layout, and I'll pop up a little video running through that when I post this one for you. I'll pop it up on the social media. And office space was really important for my job and for Ali's study, although Alice does a lot on a butt on her bed on the laptop, but having the big
second laptop. First one, we were going into Cancun way station.
Oh yeah, right, just out of home.
And dropped it and smashed the screen.
That's right. Yeah, literally like day one.
Yep.
Day one of bus life.
Because someone couldn't control his dog.
Did you hear that in the background?
No.
Ali's blaming the dog. But day one of bus life, Ali's laptop bounced down the steps of the bus and was very sad after that. It had to get replaced. We got the new one in Bowen or Airlie Beach. I can't remember. Well, we were up there somewhere. So storage wise, we have both underbeds. We have all of our kitchen storage and wardrobe storage that I mentioned, and we have a custom built, what do we call that? Dresser? A
Mhm.
dresser at the
Yeah,
end of the bed, like it's at the head of our bed. And we just made it, Tom made it out of steel frame because we actually climb up on it and go out the roof hatch. It lines up perfectly with the back roof hatch, so we can access the solar panels and wash the roof and all that kind of stuff. And we were going to put a roof deck up there.
but it never happened.
We just run out of time.
Yeah, I found it hard. The front and the back of the bus are both fiberglass. Pretty much the last 3 feet
Yeah.
each way, and you can't put any weight on it all. Where the centers are solid, and then the backs are fiberglass.
And then we've got the solar panels up the front 2/3. So we would love to put a roof deck on there. We might get to there one day. I've sat up there a few times, taken the roof hatch off, climbed up and sat up on the roof, and it is fabulous up there. I'd love to just sit up there in the desert with the Shiraz, away from all the Karens in the caravan parks, just hanging out. It'd be fabulous. But yeah, so Tom custom made the little dresser with all our baskets and things. So we've got sort of like a one that's got moisturizers and sunscreens and deodorants in. Tom puts his clothes in the center section, and then underneath I have 2 big baskets, one that stores backpacks and wet bags and things like that, and the other for dirty laundry. But yeah, it was custom made in a way that we could climb out for the roof hatch without having to carry a ladder. So that was our little plan from there. And yeah, maybe one day we'll get that roof deck done.
Yeah, one day.
Maybe.
Or we'll get a truck that I can fit my head in.
Oh yeah, Tom's already talking about upgrading a bus to a truck, but I'm not so keen to do another one. I guess from roof deck we'll have a chat. Diesel heater. So diesel heater was already in it.
Yeah, I don't know what model or anything it is, but it makes the bus goddamn hot.
We had a day where it was sleeting at home back in Tamworth before we left. And it was like 10 degrees outside. And with the diesel heater in, the bus was 21. And that was before we'd even finished fitting it out and insulating and stuff. So the little diesel heater, it came with the bus. Fabulous. Haven't actually had to use it in bus life yet because we've just been chasing that good weather. But there's been a few mornings I thought, I could put the diesel heater on.
Yeah.
Especially when we come back down and we got a few cold days after being in the Whitsundays.
Just put another jumper on.
Yeah, that's just not the answer.
Yeah.
Just keep going north. I guess from there we will talk. That's pretty much the inside of the bus, I think, done. Outside in the through bins on the passenger side, we have one through bin where we store floor mats, awning walls, barbecue. What else goes in there? Chairs.
Yeah.
And our 20-litre rainwater thing.
Yeah, and just a few odds and ends you need to fix stuff. All that's put right in the middle.
We have some.
They're not huge through bins.
No.
They're probably about 1.5 metres by maybe 800.
And we've also got our one water tank, one grey water tank in there, which takes up some room. A few little baskets with like electricals and screws and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the washing machine on the other side.
Washing machine on the other side takes up most of the space, but we've also got the fire pit on that side. My fishing bag goes on the other side.
Yeah, all the hoses.
All the hoses and hose fittings that we carry, the silage hose, pegs, clothesline, retractable clothesline.
You'll see, if she'll put a photo up, but you'll see the washing machine was a bit of a mission to get in, and it's turned sort of sideways so we can open and shut the door.
Yeah, the washing machine.
Because I had to lift it so the water can run out without the pump, which I think was said before.
We did cover that last episode. So that's essentially the inside, the through bins, and then on the back we carry 3 mountain bikes in a shingle back bike rack. It's been fabulous. It's a fabulous bike rack.
Yeah, and it's also been set up to go on the ute, which took a bit of manufacturing. It was easy to put on the bus, but took a bit. So the bikes go in between. Candy put up a photo. The bikes go in between the bus and the A-frame ute when we're towing. It clears by about 4 or 5 inches. my bike's the biggest being on there, clears the front bumper bar of the ute by about 4 or 5 inches.
And then with some smart welding from Tom, we've made it so we can take the whole bike rack. It fits in like a tow ball receiver. So that's what it's called, isn't it? A tow ball receiver? Yeah, so it fits in a tow ball receiver, and then we've
50 mil tow ball each.
And then so we've fiddled around with the ute, so we can also just take the bikes on the ute if we're leaving the bus behind, which we've done a little bit, and that's been quite successful too. Mountain bikes, we've used them.
I'm starting to use mine again now because I made a note of it.
Yeah, we sort of used them and then we stopped using them. And then I think it was the ride to Finch Hatton Gorge killed me, and I haven't used mine since then. Doesn't look like it very steep, but it was steep. It was a slow climb the whole way.
Come for a ride around Fishing Point with me.
No, thanks. You can. Tom's been riding every day. Takes the dog for like a 6 to 8K flat out run around, harassing the people of Lake Macquarie on his bike with his blue dog. But they're both pretty happy. But yeah, they're one of those things that when we've got the vehicle, we just tend to use the vehicle, but we really should be using the bikes more. We've carted them a long way, and I don't feel we've used them to their potential.
I think we need to make more of a note to use them when you stop and travel. And
yeah.
I don't know if the answer is finding one that gives you a little bit of assistance up the hills, because the hills just absolutely take the guts clean out of you.
Yeah, so we maybe e-bikes, but before I commit to e-bikes, I want to actually make sure we're going to use them, because I'm a bit conservative like that. Tom would just rush out and buy an e-bike tomorrow, I think. He's a bit like that, but I'm a bit more conservative. Yeah, but the shingleback system has been fabulous. Highly recommend that one.
Yeah. It came pretty quick, actually. That came to Bowen really quick.
Yeah, made in Victoria, and it come to Bowen.
Three bike rack. You're not pulling tyres off. You just sit them on, 2 bungee straps.
Clip them in, they're done.
Yeah, away you go.
Super easy.
Yeah, $1,500 I think it was for 3 bike racks. So they're expensive, but they're well worth it, I think.
And well made. You don't want them. You see a few horror stories on the Facebook pages where their bike racks come adrift.
Yeah.
Hopefully that won't be us. And we've got a few more minutes to fill in, so I guess we'll talk about the trailer.
The trailer? Fit out of the trailer?
So initially when we left Bus Life, we were towing a 4.5 metre fully enclosed Pantech motorbike trailer.
Yeah, single axle trailer.
With 2 motorbikes.
Yeah, it had a 2-ton rating.
We put solar.
There was solar on the roof, 200 watts.
A fridge.
Yeah.
Toolbox.
Yeah.
Big old battery.
Yep, 270 amp hours.
2 motorbikes.
Yep.
3 mountain bikes.
Yep.
Kayak.
Yep.
Fishing gear.
Yep.
I think that was all that went in there.
Yeah, it was pretty generator.
A generator, yeah.
Fuel cans.
Motorbike gear.
Motorbike gear. There was there was a cupboard I put in.
Yeah, like a locker.
Yeah, Candy probably have a photo of it. So it had the setup was, I had a Tiger Triumph 1200. It travelled, I had, what's it called? The gear
wheel?
on it. No, the gear. I had the luggage.
The Pantex,
yeah, the luggage on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it travelled with that, so I had to make room for that. And we put a wheel chock, and I put them over the axle, it and the CB 250, I think it's 300.
So it's a 300. Don't underestimate my big motorbike.
Yeah, and they were both wheel chocks I got from Supercheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just lots of tie down points back and forwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really went well, and we did use the motorbikes a little, but we found it very hard with a teenager and a dog.
Yeah.
To use motorbikes.
Yeah, it was a good setup. Everything was in there, but since we've taken it off, if I hit the hills or anything, we can just unhook the ute, and Candy can drive the ute.
Yeah,
makes it a lot easier. We're the trailer, and then we're the first time in Newcastle we had the trailer, and we found it's good at big parks, but it becomes a pain
in small parks.
In the small parks.
And we had the 12-volt jockey wheel on the trailer as well, which we kind of needed in some spots when it was fully loaded. Where we were Fingal, we needed it.
It worked all right, and then we may as well tell the story here now. Like, as soon as we got into Queensland roads, it's the same story. As soon as you cross the border, you got to wind your clock back an hour and 15 years.
But
You get up there on the back of the front roads, and my Tiger come loose, and we fought it for about 300 k's trying to hold it. I ended up putting the camera in there, and eventually we got it tied down. But yeah, the roads up there, it ended up bending the single axle.
yeah,
So the idea of the single axle was, I've heard people behind trucks with the same length from your back wheels to the hitch, because it's so far, it has no give.
yeah.
And then if you have a bogey axle trailer, everything's
It
in the middle and you
snaps your
snap your A-frame. So that's why we went single axle, but single axle was doing all the work.
But single axle also easier to maneuver. Like when we have to unhook it and you had to spin it around on sites and stuff, single axle's easier to maneuver around. So it had its pluses. And New South Wales, it fared pretty well. But as soon as we hit that whooping hollow of Queensland roads, and I'm a Queenslander, love my state, love the weather, but oh my God, those roads up through Miles, Taroom, Theodore, that trailer was like a little dinghy at rough seas behind the bus, and it just wreaked carnage.
Yeah, just work the straps back and forwards.
We were just snapping straps on motorbikes. Motorbikes were coming loose. We stopped like 25 times in 2 kilometres to restrap things down. And at that point, we kind of said, well, I don't think this is quite the setup for us. And we went to Navara. But next week, we're going to go right through.
Took a while, but I think you've got to be willing to change your horse.
Yeah, look,
midway through. We thought that would be the best idea, but now we know. We are struggling a little bit at the moment with one car. But,
we bet on the wrong horse, but we weren't too proud to say we picked the wrong horse and change. But I think we'll go right into that next week, because I think there's quite a bit to unpack in that episode.
Yeah, Candy will put a photo up of the trailer anyway.
Yeah, I'll put some photos and maybe another little walkthrough video. Everyone seemed to like that this week. But I think that's us for the week.
Yep, I haven't got anything else.
Your joke was when you cross the border to Queensland?
Yeah, you got to turn your cock back 1 hour and 15 years.
Yeah. To a simpler time of life.
Yeah. Is that why you identify as 25?
Yeah, I identify as 25 on Queensland time, until you hang out with 25-year-olds and then you realise you were really not. I think that's us for the week. Make sure you join in next week when we go into towing and setting up our little Nissan Navara. And after that, we're getting pretty close to sort of just what we did to finance the bus, and what we went through to prepare to hit the road full time. And then we're into the good travelling life stuff. So a few more episodes. That'll be the end of season 1. And then season 2 will be on the road, travel blogging more than bus life setuping.
Yeah.
So enjoy. Hope you enjoyed. Hope the mic sounded better. Give us some feedback on that. Love to hear your thoughts. And we'll see you next week. Make sure you follow us on all the social media channels at O'Neill's on the Run, and tune in regularly to come along with us on this crazy adventure.